myself together. I gotta get myself together. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together. You better get yourself together. What's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be his son that you can't vote. William Jewell. And I ain't taking no L's. This is articulating. Rap. How y'all doing, man? It's Wednesday. Just had a good day training. Just had a good day at the gym. Got on that Stairmaster. Did some cardio. Worked out that back. A little bit of tries. Recorded a little bit. Felt good. You know, I got a new Rode mic when I'm in the gym, so you can hear me working out and talking and what I'm saying. I'm giving a little bit more tips. So check out the Incline Press, right? That's the book. That's the lesson. That's the discipline. That's the structure that you may need along the way in your fitness journey. And you know, I'm a fitness type of guy. That's how I make a living. So I definitely believe in fitness. I definitely believe in health. And I don't believe in eating Kellogg's cereal for dinner. And as a youngin', I did eat cereal for dinner. Like, we didn't have everything growing up as a child, but one thing that we had is good food and good education, right? So we always had food. My mama would cook, but if I didn't want to eat it, I'd eat the cereal. So the fact that this is coming up and that the Kellogg CEO is saying you should eat cereal for dinner, it'll save money. It's just as healthy. Like, cereal is a lot of sugar. If you watch the Vince Staples show, he basically talked about how sugar is killing the black community. And he talked about making a healthier cereal because we do purchase a lot of cereal. Cereal can feed a lot of families. It's just like noodles. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that I ate that for dinner, and now that I'm in the fitness world and I see how bad that is, when I see how unhealthy that is, when I see how much sugar that is, and I wasn't knowledgeable at the time, I hate myself. Well, I don't hate myself for the ignorance, but, you know, I just wish I knew better. And if you know better, you do better. Shout out Pastor Bledsoe, 18-year anniversary, St. John Baptist Church. I went down there this weekend, Sunday, you know, deliver some poetry. So, you know, I'll be articulating rap. I do the podcast. I'll be training. I do the fitness. I write the books. But I'm also a writer, you know, all around. And I like to do the poetry. And so I did a poem for my mom's anniversary for playing the piano at the church. And then Pastor Bledsoe, 18-year anniversary at the church, I did a poem. So, you know, I love my church family. They always been there for me through thick and thin, through young to adulthood. And Pastor Bledsoe married me and my wife. He took us through that premarital counseling, and we learned a lot under his tutelage. And I believe he's a great man. I believe he deserves great things, and I expect nothing but good things for him and the first lady in the future, right? So shout out to them. Shout out to Waco, Texas, my hometown, my city. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I'm a legend. Some people call me a legend. I don't feel like I'm a legend. You know what I'm saying? But I can respect it, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate the love y'all always giving me. Because they call me a legend because I played ball, right? I played football, and I did good for myself when I was in high school. I ain't gonna cap. I did good. I got to college, you know, playing on that collegiate level. So I did good for myself. So that's why I'm familiar with football. That's why I'm familiar with the NFL. That's why I'm familiar with these combines. That's why I'm familiar with the 40-yard dash, the broad jump, the bench press, the L drill, the 5-10-5 cone drill. I'm familiar with these things because of my journey in that football realm, man. I was just thinking about Caleb Williams. I was just thinking about the number 1 overall draft pick. At least in my opinion, he should be. They're talking about Daniels. Yes, Daniels won the Heisman this year, but who won it last year? Bro was a Heisman. Bro was just trying to get through the season. He did Lincoln Riley a favor and stayed. So Caleb Williams, he's definitely the number one overall pick. Like the way he was throwing the ball, like the talent, arm talent he was showing, and he can get up and he can run a little bit. No, he don't have to take these medical exams. He the number one pick, right? You gonna get what you gonna get. You gonna get greatness from him. And I don't care if it's the Bears. I don't care if it's the Patriots. I don't care where he goes. But wherever he goes, especially if it's in the right situation, especially if it's the right coach, he will help uplift that franchise. And a great quarterback can uplift any franchise. A great quarterback can play in any system and be successful. So that is the difference between the game changers and the game managers. The game changers don't have to have a system set up for them. They can go into any system and succeed. Shout out Cam Newton. And I believe that was real commendable what you said in response to the fight, Cam. I believe that was real mature. That was real grown up of you. And he's apologizing to even the people that he got in the duel with. He got in a fight with. He's saying he's sorry. He shouldn't have acted like that. Right? And he wasn't putting all the blame on them. So that was definitely respectable. That was definitely admirable. And I'm glad that you was able to, speak on it and shed some light for the youth. So shout out Cam. But let's get back to this NFL Combine. Right, let's get back to my running back, right? My running back pick, because I love running backs. So I always look at college football. I look at the running backs. I looked at Michigan a lot this year, and I love Blake Corum, number 2 Michigan Wolverines. Like, I just love the way he ran the ball, low to the ground, tight cuts. He never really took losses. He was strong. He kept the pile moving. I saw that he ran a 4.53, right? And to be honest, that's a good enough. That's fast enough. Because most running backs is not breaking away from no 4.2, 4.3 cornerback anyways. So as long as you can gain 20, 30-yard chunks, right, that's fast enough for me. So Blake Corum, I do believe he could be a first-round pick, but I think he might go into that second round. And like the Cowboys, now that I'm thinking about it, that'll be a great pickup, right? Because he reminds me of Zeke. He's probably not as fast, maybe not as explosive, but the way he run the ball, his vision, his patience, and just the way he looks, like the way his pad level is, he just looks like he's hard to bring down. He looks like he's hard to tackle in space. And I believe the Cowboys should be looking at Blake Corum. I believe that's a good addition for a good price. So shout out Blake Corum. That's my RB for the draft. And Drake May, don't try to put him over Penix, right? Because y'all tried to put Trubisky over Deshaun Watson, who won a NCAA championship that year, and Patrick Mahomes, the 3-time Super Bowl winner Patrick Mahomes, the 2-time NFL MVP Patrick Mahomes. Y'all try to put Mitchell Trubisky over him? He went to North Carolina, didn't really do much that season, and y'all doing the same. Y'all doing the same thing with Drake May, and I believe Penix, he at least is owed that 3rd spot. Jaden Daniels or JD Daniels, he can go 2nd. But I believe Penix is owed that 3rd spot by the way he played this year, right? Because if you win, if you play good at that high level, then you got a good chance of playing good at that high level when you get to that high level. So Drake May, I think he's okay. He didn't really put a splash on the TV for me, from what I saw of him. So I like Penix at 3rd. So I believe to put Drake May above Penix, it will be like making the same type of mistake that y'all did with Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun and Patrick Mahomes. So NFL teams, y'all might want to think about that. Y'all might want to look at that. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I see football. I feel like if you play great at the collegiate level, you usually are going to play great in the pros, especially if they done their research. And I saw that Xavier Worthy from Texas, from UT, ran at 4.21. The fastest time before that was a 4.22 ran by John Ross from Washington. So this is another receiver, Xavier Worthy. And I think he was already supposed to be the number one receiver pick coming out of this draft. And I wish Ewers would have came out. I feel like I would have took Ewers over Drake May. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like I would have took Ewers over Drake May. So I think Ewers should have came out and given Arch Manning his first time to start and be the starter, not have to look over his shoulder. Just know he's going to be able to succeed in the year going forward. So Dallas, Texas. I'm from Waco, Texas. So Texas football is talked about a lot. So I'm just reporting to y'all about them UT sports. Right. So let's stay in the football realm. Like I said, football is my expertise. So I want to talk about football. I want to talk about the NFL. And we're going to talk about the NBA too. We're going to talk about sports news, what's happening in sports, what's going on in sports. Because articulating rap is about rap, but it's about the culture overall. So we're going to talk sports. And let's talk Russell Wilson. Right. And I love that I Am Athlete interview. I love the way he was able to switch the narrative in his favor. I love the way he said things about Sierra and what about his stepson Future. I love what he said and how he carried himself and the maturity and the wisdom that he was giving and the fact that he didn't want to say nothing bad about Marshawn Lynch. He didn't want to say nothing bad about Richard Sherman. All two guys who were talking down on him, who were saying bad things about him in the media, in the interviews. And you know why I'm here in Marshawn Lynch, we love you. But you did talk bad about bro. You did say some things that could be damaging to his reputation. Richard Sherman, you did say some things that could make people want to look at Russ with the stank face, could make him think he's lame, could make him think he's corny. Right? And I like the way Brandon Marshall said this on the Stephen A interview. I love the way B. Mar said, if a starting quarterback from another team goes to another team, he's going to bring his staff in. He's going to bring in the things that he wants to do. The only reason why Russ was exposed for having that office, that room, the only reason why Russ was ever exposed is because they wasn't winning in Denver. And they pointed the finger at him. They put the blame at him and they released him. And they're going to have to eat $85 million in cap. Right? So $85 million they will not be able to spend on getting new players for this upcoming season. But you might as well kept Russ. And there's been whispers, there's been rumors about maybe Justin Fields to the Broncos. Right? They're talking Justin Fields to the Atlanta Falcons, Georgia boy. It'll be a good fit. I mean, I don't know. I like Fields. I had Fields on my fantasy team, and when he played, most of the time he played well. He ran the ball well. He threw the ball. He threw picks. He was a turnover machine, no doubt. But when he was healthy, he was going to put some points up and he was going to put some yardage up. So I believe in Justin Fields, but this is 3 years in the league. So I don't believe like he can show much more in the 4th or 5th year. I told my friends, like, no matter what they saying about the potential of Justin Fields, if you look at the history of most quarterbacks, if they don't do well in their first 3 years, then usually they're not going to get better, you know what I'm saying, in their latter years. We talking about Drew Brees, maybe that's an exception, and we talked about somebody else that may have been an exception to that rule, but there's very few and far between. Do I hope Justin Fields can be that guy? Yes, I do, but I said this before Justin Fields got drafted. I said Justin Fields didn't impress me like that. But when I saw him taking off, when he was running them touchdowns in last year, not this past year, but the year before last, I was like, whoa, I never seen him do that at Ohio State. And he caught my attention, and just knowing that he has that ability kind of changed my whole mind frame about Justin Fields. So I think he can. I think he has the potential, but will he be? Usually when we look at that 3-year resume, and I told y'all that's what I want from Brock Purdy. That's what I want from all of these quarterbacks. I need that 3-year resume to tell me what you are as a quarterback, and then I will judge you from there. And so I got faith in Justin Fields. But in that 3-year resume, he shown me something, but it's been inconsistent. And he showed me inconsistency. So I hope he finds a team, or maybe even if he stays with the Birds, I hope they show him love and continue to build around him. So maybe he can do something. But it's not looking good for his future. Like whether he goes to the Falcons, whether he goes to the Broncos, whether he goes to another team. Like I said, a real game changer is a quarterback that can play in any system. Because quarterback, at the end of the day, you throwing the ball. And if you know how to run, you know how to scramble, and you know how to make plays with your feet, then your arm can follow through with that feet work. Like, it's that simple. So I believe, especially if you're a dual threat quarterback, like, you should be able to play in any system. Because if you can throw the ball and you can run, like, what's going to stop you? You don't like the routes that these guys are running, right? You don't like how the running backs blocking? Or you don't like how the tight ends blocking? You don't like your linemen? Okay. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's running, throwing the ball, and catching the ball. That's simple. That's not rocket science. So I judge quarterbacks from the basics at the end of the day. But Russell Wilson, man, that interview did really change my mindset on Russell Wilson. I ain't gonna lie. That interview did change my mind on Russell Wilson. I was tough on him. And not tough on him to the public, but I just saw him as a weenie, if we're going to be honest. But I believe that's the type of man I would like to be. Take care of my family. Raise my children upright. No matter if it's my child, but if it's a child under my care, raise him like he's mine. Raise her like she's mine. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, never say nothing bad about the people who badmouth you. You know? Never say nothing bad. Never give them nothing to talk about. Because that's the real code. That's the real G code. Marshawn, Richard Sherman, that's the real G code. But it's crazy because these guys give you this street, this thug type of persona. And I love Marshawn Lynch. Don't get me wrong. I love beast mode. But if we put things into perspective and we look at it a different perspective, these guys promote this image of themselves and they breaking the code. But the person they call corny, the person they call lame is being a stand-up dude. So not only is Russ going to make close to $40 million next season without even having to play, he's going to be able to sign on to another roster and possibly get paid a contract from them. Hopefully 2 or 3 years, right? Or at least 2 years guaranteed, maybe a 3-year contract. So he'll be able to double dip. He'll be able to stack his money up because he kept it P. He kept it P while y'all was trying to drag his name through the mud. He kept it P when y'all was bringing up Toxic Future shit. He kept it P when y'all was talking about Sierra and that fishnet dress. He kept it P when y'all was talking about his son that was at the All-Star game in Indiana, Young Future. He kept it all the way G. And I don't think nothing lame, nothing corny about that. Like, that's why I say I got an open mind. My mind can change. I felt a certain way about Russell Wilson, but he showed me something else that made me think differently. And sometimes it's the subtle things. Sometimes it's the little things. And now that I'm talking about it and now that I'm bringing it to light, it really puts it in perspective. Maybe, hopefully you can think about it this way. Right? I told a guy on Facebook, I say, bro, why are you defending Future? He has a wife. He has kids. We are the same. We're more relatable to Russell Wilson than we are to Future. So why we bigging Future up? Right? He got plenty of baby mamas. No disrespect. He got a lot of kids. And if you think about that type of job, if you think about that type of mission impossible task to complete, same thing with NBA YoungBoy. He said he don't want to be a dad. Right? Think about Nick Cannon. He can't be at every place at once. So even with all these kids, you're going to be absent from some certain way, some manner, some shape, form, or fashion. You're going to be absent. You're not always going to be present. But when that kid lives under the same roof that you come home to at night, when that kid is who you come home to after a long day at work, right? When everything's been hard, when everything's been rough, when you've been having to bite your tongue, when that same kid is home greeting you saying, hey, daddy, I love you, daddy. I couldn't wait till you got home, daddy. Like, that's different, right? And that's what ultimately as a father you want. You want all of your kids to go from underneath your roof and you be able to raise them like they should be raised from a man, from the masculine perspective. So, I mean, you got to tip your hat to Russell Wilson. Give him a salute. Keep your head up, Russ. Keep keeping it P. Keep keeping it player. While these other boys act like goofs. Right? And let's go back to music. Let's go back to music because I heard about Meek Mill. I heard about the beef between him and DJ Academics. I heard about all the P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs stories. I heard about all the rumors. I heard about all the gossip, right? I heard about the naysayers, the doubters, the believers, the non-believers. I heard y'all. And I believe Meek Mill deserves a fair one. I believe we should take what was said in that lawsuit as fraudulent, as false, as fake. I believe we should give Meek the benefit of the doubt. Right? Meek has stood for motivation, stood for inspiration for so many of us. How he was hungry in those beats, how he was hungry when Drake was trying to starve him, take his lights out. Like how he came back with Save Me. How he came back with Left Hollywood. Then he dropped the album Wins and Losses. He got locked up. Then he dropped Championships. No, we got to respect Meek more. He's done a lot for this community. He's done a lot for this culture. He sacrificed a lot being on probation. He sacrificed a lot during the prison reform and we taking him as a joke. Like 3,000 copies? I don't believe that. That just don't make any sense to me. Right? How can Meek Mill sell 3,000 copies? Right? Too Good to Be True just came out with him and Ross. I think they did a little bit under 30. But 3K, that's crazy. That's outrageous. That's insane to me. And that to me showed me how the streaming sites and how these record labels were playing games, how these machines are playing games with these independent artists, especially the ones with a name, especially the ones with a following, with a fan base, with people that's paying attention to them, especially the people that got an audience. Right? Since you're not going to play this game with us, we're going to make you look bad in public. We're going to give you the public humiliation. Right? We're going to force that Diddy narrative on you. Right? We're going to say that your album, your EP's not doing good. Right? We're going to try to blackball you. We're going to try to put you in that black hole so you will never come back. But Meek is a dream chaser. He's somebody that has a vision. He's somebody that want to succeed just as bad as the next man. And we can always say he's been honest. He always going to tell us how he feel. He never bit his tongue about anything. You talking about pictures, you talking about awkward postures. I have to even defend him, but damn, is that really enough to say he's done some homosexual acts? Is that really enough to put that card on him, to put that type of paint, that type of blemish, that dirt on his jacket? And ain't nothing wrong with being gay, but he's irrefutably denied that he was. So the fact that he's saying he's not and y'all trying to say that he is, that's disrespecting himself. Right? So I believe Meek Mill is owed respect from the culture, from our people, but they still talking bad about him. And one thing I talked bad about too soon, and I wouldn't even say I talked bad about, but I didn't give it credit when it was due, was that Schoolboy Q. That Schoolboy Q Blue Lips. It's grown on me. It's invigorating. It's rejuvenating. Right now, when I hear the loops, the roller coaster of the beats and the production, now I go on the ride. Now I don't try to control or steer myself. I just let the music take control. right? And it grows on me. It gets more amusing. It gets more funner. It gets more enjoyable. That's what Blue Lips is to me. I felt like that Kendrick wasn't there and he didn't have that Kendrick touch on it. But now I listen to it, not saying that Kendrick put any touch to it, but now that I listen to it, it has the cohesiveness that I was looking for when I first heard it. And I reported to y'all after 2 or 3 listens, but I feel like it was incomplete. That emotion that I wanted from it, it was incomplete. But that same incompleteness, that same missing emptiness, it made me want to go back. It made me hunger for more, to find that fulfillment. And I believe I found it. I believe I found the texture of the substance. I believe I found his passion and what he was trying to convey. I believe I found the message in the bottle, and I rubbed it and a genie came out. And this was the album that we were wishing for from Schoolboy Q from the get-go. Is it oxymoron? Is it blank face? I don't know, but Schoolboy, I think I want to move you to my number 1. I think I want to put you at 1, put 21 Savage at 2, and move Vultures to 3. And like I said, La Russell and Hit Boy at 4 with Rent Due. And then we talk about the Benny the Butcher. Everybody Can't Go. All right, so those are my 5 albums from the year. We're in the first quarter of the year. Let's see what happens in that second quarter, but we closing out on that first quarter. I think Sir from TDE is also going to be dropping on March 22nd, so that's R&B, but I look forward to it. And I believe there's some more drops that I can't really name off top, but hey, I'm looking forward to it. 2024 looking good, and we know J. Cole's coming as well. We know something's coming from J. Cole. But I wish great things were coming from Dreamville. JID said he would release Forever in a Day this year. Semino said he was going to release an album or a project this year. So I'm looking forward to all of those things. And I've heard some new things too. From that Mexican OT from Houston, Texas. Stand Up, H-Town, Houston, Texas. You know what I'm talking about? Go Down. Yeah. Know what I'm talking about? Right? So H-Town, Texas. That Mexican OT rapper from Houston. I told y'all I was going to give him a listen. I told y'all I was going to give him a first shot on my way to the house earlier. I was just listening to his album. And I like Mexican OT. I believe he can rap. I believe he's very talented because he showed that he can harmonize, that he can sing, and that he can get the job done from a melodic standpoint. And he showed me that he can rap. He got lyrics, but he also showed me he's smart enough to know when to rap and when to just talk and give you just those basic, simple lyrics. So I believe Mexican OT has potential. He sounds promising. Because the fact that he can sing, then that gives him wiggle room through different music lanes and music genres that as a Latino, he probably could appreciate, especially when it comes to reggaeton, especially when it comes to the Latin trap. So I believe some of these things are the things that OT should be leaning on as well. You know what I'm saying? For that next act, for that next phase in his career. But at the same time, it's Texas. It's Southern. He had Zero on there. He had Paul Wall. He had Slim Thug, Salute Propane. He had some Fredo Bang, right? He had some artists on there. So it definitely was feature heavy, but his voice was definitely the most dominant one out of all the features and throughout the whole project. So salute to Mexican OT. I talked to a homeboy. I said,